Hello readers, welcome back to PJL Books and welcome to today's Off the Shelf. Today's Off the Shelf topic is printed book or ebook. When e-readers first descended upon the market, I was highly suspicious of them. I saw them as gimmicky, as the book industry equivalent of 3D, and I railed about them in a long blog post which I've long since lost a link to, about how they would never replace the printed book and how horrible they were. That was about 8 years ago. Now, I own an e-reader and I adore it. The sea change in attitude I'll get to in a moment, but needless to say that my accusation that e-readers were gimmicky was far from the truth. Really, the e-reader does for books what MP3 players did for music. Except, not quite. I still own and buy printed books. I'm not alone in this. In the past couple of years, e-readers and e-books have hit an invisible ceiling in sales, or slowed at best, while printed books are enjoying a bounce back in popularity. Indeed, the vast majority of people who actively use e-readers still actively buy and read printed books. So, why is that? I think it's safe to say that the digital era has resulted in many people not owning a single CD anymore, or at best consigning their collection to a dusty attic because they don't have the heart to throw them away. The same is true for movies. And yet having a healthy sized bookshelf around the house is still quite common. And lest we forget, books are big, bulky space eaters compared to CDs and even DVDs. It seems the world has come to the same conclusion that I did. While e-readers do in fact have many advantages over their paper cousins, there is just no replacing the real McCoy. Well, let's look at the advantages of an e-reader first. There are many. They're the size of a book, but much thinner and much lighter, and they can hold hundreds upon hundreds of novels. For portability's sake, that is incredible. Tossing an e-reader into your suitcase or briefcase is tossing in a whole library worth of reading. E-readers also offer up other options such as increasing font size or font type, which is great for those with poor eyesight. Straight up e-readers don't have a backlight either, meaning they mimic the look of paper too, which reduces eye strain to the point that it's basically no worse than an actual book. And if you have an e-reader that also has other capabilities such as the Amazon Kindle or even an ebook app on your smartphone or tablet, it makes for smooth integration into a hectic lifestyle, rather than fumbling for a different device when you want to listen to music or answer messages. Pretty impressive stuff overall. So, with all of these advantages, why are sales in the printed book still so robust? Well, put it this way. With other mediums like music or movies, they are forms of entertainment which have always required an extra piece of equipment with which to enjoy it, yeah? Music went from vinyl player to CD player to MP3 player. Movies went from VHS player to DVD player to Blu-ray player. Basically, the advancement in technology didn't make the consumption of media any more or less complicated. There's always been that extra layer of equipment needed. Even now, with everything streamable and available over the internet, with requiring nothing more than an internet connection, you still need a device to play it on. That's not so with books. A book is a self-contained form of entertainment, right? Requiring nothing more than itself to enjoy it. Okay, sure, we could all get pedantic and say that you need a working knowledge of the language, but that's true of everything in life, really. The fact is that you can walk into a bookstore right now, pick up a book, and enjoy it straight away. You don't need to plug it into a player for that. For e-readers, however, you do have that extra layer. For all of the benefits that e-readers bring to the table, there's no getting around the fact that they add an extra layer of complexity, a barrier between you and the book. Now you might be thinking, It's not that much of a big deal. Having to boot up an e-reader to read isn't that inconvenient. True, but think about this. When was the last time you had a piece of technology become widespread in usage despite being less convenient compared to its predecessor? Pretty hard to think of an example, isn't it? Now, this is the reason why HD TV is now widespread and will soon be followed by 4K, because using a HD TV is just as easy as the TVs that preceded it, while 3D will always be niche. It will never become widespread. Why? Because you need to put on a pair of special glasses. Just that little extra blip of inconvenience plays a massive part in the adoption rate of new tech and new mediums. We humans are hardwired to find the easiest, most streamlined route to results and entertainment. Any extra detours to get there will either get ironed out or we'll just give up on it altogether. And this is the main reason why e-readers won't be worrying brick and mortar bookstores anytime soon. On top of this, the e-reader may successfully mimic the look and feel of a real book, but there's no getting around the fact that it's an electronic device. It runs out of battery sometimes, something a physical book never has to worry about. And if you drop a book in the bath, no big deal. Just leave it to dry, or at worst, just spend a bit more money on a new copy. It's annoying, sure, but nowhere near as annoying as dropping an e-reader in water and having to shell out for a brand new one for a much higher price than just a single book. And let's be perfectly honest here. We all just love the look and feel of a real book. They're precious things. That pleasing sensation of turning the page, the smell of new paper, or old paper for that matter, is just something that an e-reader cannot do. And how can we treasure data files and pass on our beloved stories to our children when they don't physically exist? And don't get me wrong, I have long had my mind changed by e-readers, and they are wonderful, brilliant things. But the hardbacks and paperbacks are going nowhere. And why would we want them to? You can rip music and DVDs to PC and save space in your record collection and movie library, but a bookshelf would not be a bookshelf without books. And that's it for today's Off the Shelf. Thank you very much for listening, readers. The written version of this post is on my website, the link of which is in the description below, so please check it out. Thank you very much and see you next time. Bye bye.